Tonight, the family of a Louisiana man is calling for justice after new explosive audio that the Associated Press says was obtained from body camera footage. That audio is now putting the death of Ronald Greene in the spotlight. Greene died at the end of May in a 2019 car chase in northern Louisiana. Greene's family was initially told by officials that the 49-year-old died from injuries suffered in a car crash into a tree shrub at the end of a long chase that began over an unspecified traffic violation. The family is disputing the account from state police, which omits any reference to troopers using force. They've released photos too graphic to show of Greene's body, appearing to show deep bruises on his face and cuts on his scalp. Photos of the car that he was driving show it only had minor damage. ABC News has obtained the audio from the body camera microphone of State Trooper Chris Hollingsworth. Authorities say that video will not be released while there is an active investigation going on. We do have to warn you, the audio is graphic and disturbing. The trooper that you just heard there, Chris Hollingsworth, he died in late September after a single car accident on the very same day he was informed that he was being fired for his role in this incident. These are images from his funeral. Hollingsworth was the only one of 6 troopers placed on administrative leave following an administrative investigation of the incident not opened until this August. The case is now the subject of a federal civil rights investigation, and tonight there are growing calls for authorities to release the full body camera video. Joining us now is Ronald Greene's mother, Mona Hardin, his sister, Danelle Hardin, and the family's attorney, Lee Merritt. They have all filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Thank you all for your time. And Ms. Hardin, to say that we are sorry for your loss, of course, falls so short and comes very late. As you know, this case has gotten very little national attention until now. Now, you all recently met with the governor of Louisiana. You've both seen body camera video of the incident. We just heard that disturbing audio. Ms. Hardin, walk us through what you saw. And did you receive assurances that this video will be made public and soon?
What I did see, I can tell you, is totally what was told to us. That he was in an accident, he died in a car crash because of this accident. This video tells a whole different tape. His death certificate and this video is 2 different stories. It's horrific. I can't close my eyes and not see my son and what they did to him. I find it hard to sleep. It's been almost a year and a half. It was hard before. It's even harder now. It's unbelievable that this has gone this long, but I can see why it hasn't been revealed, because it's another story here. It's horrendous what happened to my son, and the fact that this has been kept under wraps, and the fact that they were going to keep it under wraps because they thought that we would not do anything with this. They just thought that this was going to be another death, another murder that they got away with, and that's how I see it.
But what happened to your son? For families who are just hearing about this story for the first time, you obviously know this information really well, but based on what you saw in the video, can you relay to us all what did happen to him?
I will say that relaying what happened in that video for this family will probably be very difficult. I can say that as the vehicles came to a stop, Ronald Greene immediately surrendered with his hands up, and he told law enforcement that he was sorry. He actually kept repeating that he was sorry and that he was scared. Without much time, the law enforcement officers approached the vehicle shouting obscenities. They immediately tased Ronald and drug him from the car. That was a matter of seconds by the time that they approached the vehicle. Once they had him on the ground, Officer Chris Hollingsworth put him in a chokehold while the other officers At least one other officer, and I'm not sure which officer, tased him at that point a second time. And a third time, as he was, Christopher Hollingsworth continued to shout, "Put your arms behind your back." But he made it impossible because of the chokehold that he was placing him in while repeatedly tasing him. While that was going on, the men continued to shout obscenities and insults until, for about 4 minutes, sustained minutes of beating and choking, before they put him in handcuffs. Once they placed him in handcuffs, the beating continued.
Yes.
And the choking continued until they stopped for a brief moment to wash their hands of his blood. And then they returned to him to put shackles on his feet. They mocked him. They stomped on him. They drug him by his feet, the chains that they attached to his feet for no apparent reason, just for sport. And then they laughed about it.
You're saying that they literally washed their hands of his blood. I want to fast forward for a second, Lee, and just get a sense of, were you surprised when you heard the graphic audio recording from that officer? And what do you think needs to happen next?
Oh, yeah, we were surprised when we heard the graphic audio. But after seeing the video and seeing that the behavior matched that audio, we know that there are additional officers who need to be arrested. They should have been arrested when this video was shared with the supervisors. And so there should be an investigation to why those supervisors or whoever were responsible, the stopgap for this kind of thing happening, why when they saw it, why weren't these men fired? The family is extremely disappointed that after seeing this video that they won't have the opportunity to see Christopher Hollingsworth prosecuted. Yes. But we certainly want to see the other two officers prosecuted.
Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Danelle, a question for you. When you first heard that your brother had passed away, at what point did you realize that there might be more to his death than authorities were telling you?
You know, I just feel like, based on the information that they gave us, it wasn't until we received a notification saying that on Facebook, the neighbor posted that he died, you know, right in my neighbor's driveway. And that's when we figured there was more to the story, that he was actually beaten and not in a car accident.
When we first heard that Ronnie died and died because of a car accident, we immediately went to Louisiana. We stayed there a total of 9 days, and we had no cooperation. It was also those 9 days where we did have no cooperation, no communication with none of the police, no state troopers, anything. And it was a back and forth. They just ran us in circles. We couldn't talk to no one, and no one called us.
Lee, have you received any explanation as far as why this investigation is taking so long?
Well, the DA who was initially responsible from Union Parish said that he immediately acknowledged that these were civil rights violations and should be referred over to the Department of Justice and to the FBI. He says since he referred it back in 2019, the case has just laid in wait.
Ms. Hardin, of course, this year has been extremely difficult for so many, the so-called racial reckoning in our country, spurring protests and some amount of reform. You've been calling for justice for your son for more than a year now. Of course, there have been similar calls for justice for Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, and the list goes on. Many of those calls, as you know, have gone unanswered. Do you have any advice for other grieving families? What's getting you through this time, and what do you hope for now?
What I can say is how it's so bittersweet, but it's the networking and communicating with so many families. We understand each other's grief, our loss. We totally connect. I hate using that description, but when people usually say, "I'm so sorry for your loss," it doesn't resonate on any level. But when immediately you meet these families who've endured this kind of pain and horrific situations that goes on with their loved ones, it's an unspoken bond that happens. And for me, I found that it lightens the burden on me. I have someone I can talk to and relate to. And all I can say is the networking. And keep the network with positive energy, positive people. It's unbelievable. The fact that here we are almost a year and a half later, and the thoughts and everything on this it goes right back to day one. It's like I haven't awakened from this bad dream.
A nightmare, I'm sure. Mona
Yes,
and Danelle
really.
Hardin, Lee Merritt, we thank you so much for your time and for talking with us and sharing your son and
Thank you
brother's
so
story.
much. Thank you for having us. Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Yes. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.